Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline.
And I am Aslan.
We are the facilitators of Module 1 Speak Smart, the Science of Effective Communication.
In this part of the module, you are going to learn to read and decode nonverbal cues to communicate effectively.
Before we begin, let's see whether you can still remember what you've learned about nonverbal communication in the first two submodules. How many percent does body language contribute to emotional communication? Do you still remember? And which part of active listening is related to nonverbal communication? Let us find out whether you have got the right answers in the next slide. It's time for the answers. Did you get them right? Don't worry if you didn't, because we are going to tell you more about the different types and the role of nonverbal cues in human communication. Take a look at the two pictures, focusing on the facial expressions of the two waiters at work. Imagine yourself at the restaurant. Who would you tip? Waiter A or waiter B? Aslan, who would you tip?
Of course, waiter B.
Why?
Simply because he's served with a smile that makes me feel welcome. The other one clearly looks not happy at all serving the guest. His face is telling me to get out of here without him saying it out loud.
So, now you understand why nonverbal communication forms 55% of emotional communication and how impactful nonverbal cues are in human communication. Nonverbal communication is considered a powerful medium of communication by many communication experts. Why is it so powerful, have you ever wondered, Aslan?
Nonverbal communication is powerful because it is deeply tied to our emotion, conveying a wealth of information about authenticity, trust, and connection, often more powerfully than words alone, at what has been said by Tony Robbins. Therefore, an effective communicator does not only know how to use non-verbal cues to enhance their verbal communication, but also knows how to read and analyze the non-verbal cues of others in order to react and respond appropriately.
Non-verbal messages are helpful in communication in several ways. When circumstances do not allow us to speak, we often have to use non-verbal messages to replace words. The most basic one is to wave at someone who is far away from you as a silent form of greeting or farewell, instead of saying hello or goodbye. Besides that, non-verbal messages can also be used to emphasize spoken words. For example, we will automatically smile when we say, "Nice to meet you," to emphasize gladness. However, sometimes non-verbal cues are used to show the opposite meaning of what is said. When saying, "I'm fine," with a monotone voice and a sad or tired facial expression, one actually sends a mixed message and suggests the person is actually not okay. Lastly, actions like nodding to encourage someone to continue speaking, maintaining eye contact to signal active listening and engagement, or a raised hand to request silence and prepare to speak are some good examples of how non-verbal messages can be used effectively to regulate or control verbal interaction. You can also think about other functions of non-verbal messages in your daily communication with people around you, whether in college, workplace, or even with strangers whom you come across. I will pass to Aslan to share with you the next part of the lesson.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Now that you have learned about the importance and functions of nonverbal communication, it is time for us to get to know the types of nonverbal cues that are commonly used in communication. The 7 types of widely used nonverbal cues are kinesics, that is related to gestures and body language; proxemics, which means distance and space; haptics, or sense of touch; paralinguistic or vocalics, which focuses on quality of sound, appearance, and artifacts; chronemics, that is linked to time; and oculesics, or eye behavior. Let's take a look at each and every type of these cues in greater detail. Now, let's talk about kinesic, which means body movement communication. Kinesic cover many different ways we use our bodies to communicate without saying a single word. Think about it this way. When you smile or you frown, you are sharing your feel through your facial expression. When you wave hello and give thumbs up or point at something, you are using gestures to send a clear message. Sometimes our movement help control the flow of conversation. For example, nodding your head or might signal, "I am listening, keep going," or raising your hand might mean, "I would like to speak now." There are also other movements like leaning in to show interest or stepping back to give someone space that tell others how we are feeling and what we need. In short, kinetic is about how your body talks for us even when your mouth stays closed. Each of us has our own idea of personal space shaped by our culture, upbringing, and personal experiences. What feels comfortable for one person might feel awkward or even rude to someone else. Let's look at three main ways how proxemics shows up in our daily lives. The first one is personal space. This is a space we like to keep around ourselves, like an invisible bubble. Imagine you are standing in line at a coffee shop. If the person behind you stands too close, and you might feel uncomfortable, you would probably move away or even frown at the closeness to show your displeasure. In many Western culture, people prefer about 2 to 3 feet to personal space when talking to friends. What about in your culture? Think about it. Next, social distance. Social distance is a space we maintain in formal and professional settings. To understand this better, think about a classroom or business meeting. The teacher or manager usually stays a few feet away from the group to keep things professional. The distance helps set boundaries and shows respect in formal situations. The last one, territoriality. Territoriality is about claiming a space as our own, even if it is not physically marked. For example, have you ever walked into a classroom and noticed a certain seats are taken? Even though there are no name tags, if someone sits in your usual seat, you might feel a little upset. That is territoriality, using space to show a sense of ownership. Proxemics remind us that space speaks. The way we position ourselves can tell others whether we are feeling friendly, formal, or defensive. Being aware of these unspoken signals help us communicate more clearly and respectfully across the culture. When you see someone close to you is feeling sad, what would you do? Would you give a person a hug or a pat on the back? Whether you give a hug or a pat on the back, you are communicating your sympathy through touch or haptics. Touch is one of the most basic and powerful forms of non-verbal communication. Touch can express many different feelings: comfort, love, encouragement, and even authority. The way we use touch or how others interpret it often depends on our culture, relationship, and also situation. Let's look at 3 common types of touch and what they mean. The first one, supportive touch. Supportive touch is used to comfort and encourage someone. For example, a teacher placing a gentle hand on the student's shoulders to reassure them before a test. Or a coach giving high five to show motivation to them. This touch says, I'm here for you and you have got this. Another type of touch is affectionate touch that shows care, love, and colors. Another types of touch is affectionate touch that shows care, love, and closeness. Hugging a family member when you greet them, and holding hands with someone you care about. And some of the examples of affectionate touch. This kind of touch strengthens emotional bonds and builds trust. The last of touch is professional touch. Professional touch happens in work and instructional setting where touch serves a practical purpose, not an emotional one. Consider a doctor examining a patient during a checkup, or swimming instructor guiding a child's arm position while teaching a stroke. These are examples of professional touch. The goal here is to teach, guide, and help, not to express feelings. It can comfort, connect, and instruct depending how it is used. By understanding supportive, affectionate, and professional touch, we can use haptics thoughtfully and communicate respect with care without words.
Now, let's dive into paralinguistics, also called vocalics. This is all about how our voice itself communicates meaning, even without the actual words we speak. Our voice plays a powerful role in everyday communication. Just by listening to someone's voice, we can often guess their age, gender, mood, or even confidence level. Sometimes before we even understand their words. There are 4 key aspects of vocalics that affect how our message is received. Let's go through them one by one with examples. The first one, tone. Tone is the emotional quality in our voice. It's what helps others feel what we feel. For example, saying thank you in a warm, gentle tone with a smile sounds sincere. But saying the exact same words in a cold, flat tone like this, thank you, can sound upset or sarcastic. Your tone sets the mood of the conversation. Vocalics is also about pitch and volume. Pitch is how high or low your voice sounds, while volume is how loud or soft you speak. Changing pitch and volume keeps listeners engaged and signals importance. A teacher might raise their pitch in volume to get students' attention. All right, class, let's get started. Then they may lower the pitch and speak softly to calm the group or show seriousness. The third aspect of vocalics is speed. Speed refers to how quickly or slowly someone speaks. Varying your speed helps you match the message to the situation. For example, speaking quickly might show excitement and urgency. Hurry, we need to get out here now. While speaking slowly and clearly can make instructions easier to follow. Lastly, pauses. Pauses are moments of silence that can emphasize a point or give space for reflection. Did you notice the short pause? What's the purpose of the pause? To get your attention. Well, a well-placed pause makes people pay attention and think deeply. So you see, our voice doesn't just deliver words, it adds meaning, emotion, and clarity. By being aware of our tone, pitch and volume, pauses and speed, we can communicate more effectively, influence how others feel, and ensure our message is understood. Let's move on to another important type of nonverbal cues, appearance and artifacts. Whether we realize it or not, the way we look and the things around us send powerful messages to others. In fact, first impressions are often formed based on appearance before we even speak a single word. Sometimes people may even stereotype or judge others unfairly based on what they see, which is why being aware of these signals is so important. We'll look at three main areas where appearance and artifacts play a role: clothing, accessories, and environment. Clothing sends the message about our role, status, and attitude. Whether we like it or not, the clothes whether we like it or not, the clothes we wear can influence how others see us and how they respond to us. Imagine going to a job interview in casual jeans and a t-shirt, arms full of tattoos. The interviewer might think you're unprepared and inappropriate for the job, even before you speak. However, if you show up wearing a formal suit, you may come across as professional and serious. Even the accessories that we wear or carry also communicate something about us. For instance, carrying a flashy watch or designer bag would make people assume you're wealthy, even if that's not true. It's hard to believe that even small details can shape how others perceive us, but we've got to believe it. Besides our physical appearance and the accessories we carry, the surroundings or environment are also non-verbal cues that send messages. Think about a doctor's office. A clean, well-organized space makes patients feel safe and confident. On the other hand, a messy, cluttered office might make people feel uneasy or doubt the doctor's professionalism. The environment sets the tone for how others experience an interaction. Appearance and artifacts speak louder than we think. Our clothing, accessories, and surroundings can influence first impressions, shape relationships, and even affect the opportunities we receive. By understanding these cues, we can present ourselves and our spaces thoughtfully and avoid sending the wrong message. Now, let's talk about chronomics, or how we use and view time as a form of communication. Time is more than just minutes and hours on a clock. Our feelings about time has a significant influence on how we interact with others, both personally and professionally. Spending time together, for instance, can make people feel closer and more connected. Chronomics is especially important in relationship and communication because it gives clues about respect, priorities, and power dynamics. There are three major ways time communicates messages: punctuality, response time, and time allocation. Punctuality is about showing up when you say you will, whether for work, school, or social event. If a student arrives late to class, it may signal a lack of respect for the teacher's time. On the other hand, being early or on time shows reliability and professionalism. Different cultures view punctuality differently. In some cultures, being 5 minutes late is no big deal, while in others, even being 1 minute late is considered rude. Being punctual sends a strong nonverbal message about your attitude and respect for others. Meanwhile, Response time is about how fast or slow you reply in a conversation or interaction. If you quickly respond to a friend's text message, it shows you're engaged and value the conversation. If you take a long time to reply, the other person might feel ignored or think you're upset, even in face to face conversations. A long pause before answering can make people think you're unsure, uncomfortable, or even hiding something. So, the speed of your response communicates interest, attention, and emotion. Lastly, time allocation. Time allocation reflects how you choose to spend your time and who you spend it with. For example, a manager who spends extra time mentoring one team member shows that they value the person's growth. In friendships or family time, making time to be together strengthens emotional bonds and closeness. How we allocate time also reveals priorities. If someone never makes time for a certain relationship or task, it can signal that it's not important to them. Where you spend your time shows what you value most. To sum up, chronamics reminds us that time itself is a message. Whether through punctuality, response time, or how we allocate our time, we're constantly communicating. By being mindful of how we use time, we can show respect, build stronger relationships, and bridge cultural differences. We have covered 6 out of the 7 key types of nonverbal cues, and that means we are almost at the end of the lesson. But we must not leave without exploring the last type of nonverbal cues, oculesics, which is the study of eye behavior in communication. Our eyes are sometimes called the windows to the soul. Do you know why? It's because they can reveal so much about what we are thinking and feeling, even without words. Eye behavior is a powerful form of nonverbal communication that can show interest or attention, confidence or nervousness, respect or disrespect, and even honesty and deception. The way we look at others or avoid looking sends strong messages. Let's look at 3 important ways eye behavior communicates meaning. The first one is direct eye contact. This happens when you look straight at the other person's eyes during a conversation. It can signal confidence, attentiveness, and sincerity. A good example of this is during a job interview, maintaining steady eye contact shows the interviewer that you're confident and engaged. It also helps build trust between you and the other person. Direct eye contact says, I'm listening and I respect you. On the other hand, avoiding eye contact can have different meanings depending on the situation and culture. Sometimes it shows shyness, nervousness, or even guilt. In this case, a student might look away when the teacher calls on them because they feel nervous about answering. However, in other cases, it can be a sign of politeness or respect, especially in certain cultures. Just like in some Asian cultures, lowering your gaze is a way of showing respect to elders or authority figures. Avoiding eye contact doesn't always mean something negative. It's the context that matters. Our eye movements, like looking up, down, or sideways, can also give clues about what we're thinking or feeling. When someone is thinking hard, they might look up, as if searching for an answer. Glancing side to side repeatedly could show nervousness or distraction. What do we do to show annoyance or disbelief? Roll our eyes, of course. Therefore, even small shifts in our eyes can reveal unspoken emotions or reactions. Oculesics reminds us that our eyes speak volumes even when our mouth stays silent. Direct eye contact builds connection and trust. Avoiding eye contact can signal discomfort or respect, depending on the culture. Eye movements reveal that what someone might be thinking or feeling. By paying attention to these cues, we can better understand others and communicate more effectively across different settings and cultures. Before we end this part of the module, let's recap what you have learned so far. Take some time to answer this question. How many functions of nonverbal messages did you learn in this part of the module? And can you name the 7 key types of nonverbal cues? Think about it. If you wish to read more about nonverbal communication, here are some references for you.
We have come to the end of this lesson, and we hope you have learned to identify and analyze various types of nonverbal cues and are ready to use them to communicate effectively with others.
Thank you, and we hope you will enjoy learning more about adapting communication styles in the next module.